Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wahid Lutfi. Today is Sunday. It is 6/11/2023, and it's around 4:35 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'm going to go through a slideshow. In today's session, I'm going to teach you or mentor you with some tutorials on MySQL Shell. That's MySQL structured query language shell. The shell is going to provide you a lot of stuff with whether you use the JavaScript, the Python script, or the MySQL or SQL itself. But MySQL is a database by itself. It has a client-server architecture. MySQL database has been, when Oracle acquired MySQL long time ago, has been running under the Oracle, and MySQL was an open source software, and now it is provided by Oracle Corporation. So I'm going to just show you in this session that we are going to use MySQL Shell, as you can see on the screen here. And the version that I'm using is on Windows 11 operating system. The MySQL Shell is 8.0333 that I downloaded there. So let's get started with this one. This is going to be the full course. So I'm going to cover MySQL JavaScript, MySQL Python, and MySQL SQL itself. And then I'm going to give you a lot of examples and practices, and then show you a lot of stuff. So please make sure that if you haven't subscribed to our channel, on our YouTube channel, just go to MyWebUniversity.com website, which is this URL here. It's a secure port, and you could just go the entire documentation and videos and sessions, everything I have made through online available for you on the cloud, so you can practice them on the Linux platform, in particular Linux Ubuntu. But the one that I'm just showing you today is Windows platform. So you're welcome to just subscribe at My Web University Free Education videos, my YouTube channel, and then just watch all these thousands of videos that are related to computer science courses, whether it's college courses or just job-related activities that you can learn those topics. The computer science, what I mean is, if you're interested in programming, I'm showing you Python programming, C++, Bash shell scripting, Windows, and a lot of Linux operating system, Unix operating system, Mac, and a lot of thousands of PDF documents everywhere. And this class is for Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9 from 0 to hero. It's about 4 hours. The whole course, beginners, intermediates, and advanced are all discussed here. This is like System D and System CTL, Journal for System Administration task. There's a lot of stuff you could always enjoy and learn it. Just for Python, for example, Python, IPython, and Interactive Python, and Jupyter Lab. I have a lot of videos for Python programming. I have a lot of videos, and I would really appreciate if you shows your support for the poor Afghan kids, that they are not allowed to go to school, and they're banned from going further to behind 7th grades. That's not fair to anybody in the entire globe to just not be educated. Education should be free for all. That's why I'm making these videos, so you could all enjoy it. Whether you have the money or not, education should be part of life, essential rights, that everybody should have a right to just attend the school that they want to go, or get their education online for free or something, if they cannot afford it. It's not fair that if parents cannot afford it, the student or the kid cannot go to college or high school behind that level. So let's get started with the MySQL here. The first thing that you need to do is make sure that you go to a website called https:// www.mysql.com. And if I go to the MySQL main page here, that is mysql.com, and you can see this page is provided on a secure page. That's why this lock is there. So all the data is going through encryption. Similarly, for MyWebUniversity, it's HTTPS. Similarly, for YouTube, HTTPS. That is showing that the data is encrypted. So you're safe to just download files and use it. And then the download directory, basically, it has a lot of neat stuff for different platforms. And when you are looking at the download page, when you go to download page, you go all the way to the bottom and just click on MySQL Community Edition of MySQL. The Community Edition is General Public License. This GPL stands for General Public License, and that's free. You don't have to pay for it. But the enterprise that you could just buy it through your company or something, obviously it provides more support than other kind of goodies. But even the community version, if you have an account with Oracle and MySQL and all those websites that they provide some support level as well. So by downloading these ones, you can see you can just download the MySQL community server. The server would be the MySQL DB, which is MySQL the daemon that is running MySQL cluster, MySQL router, and the MySQL Shell, which is a client version that connects to MySQL server, MySQL community server, and then MySQL operator. You could say MySQL NoDB. That Solar and other ones that they don't require a structured query language, like all these queries that you can do, whether data definition language, data manipulation language, or data control language, you could access through the client server. Normally, when you're a relational database like Oracle or MySQL or Informix, Sybase, Microsoft Access, or Microsoft SQL Server, which is also a transaction database. For all of them, when you're looking at them, you are basically or using SQL, which is a structured query language, or it is called also a standard query language, because all these databases that I named it, whether it's a DB4 or a Sybase or Informix or Oracle, MySQL, SQL Access, Access Server, SQL Server, all of those ones are using a standard query language. So the commands, statements that you're doing it, the data definition language, which is creating and dropping tables and indices and synonyms and everything, all of that one are through data definition language. Data manipulation language, like update, insert, all those statement that you're doing it, and data control language, things that you're granting and revoking privileges. So all of that one is done through standard query language, and it's also called SQL is a structured query language because it has a format that is very nice with the where clause and all these statement that you do. So those are called relational databases. But the non-relational databases, which is non-SQL, those are also like MongoDB and other ones that they are very very nice to use. Solar is another one, SOLAR, is that that's similar to MongoDB. So MySQL Workbench is another client server that, whether you use SQL Plus or Workbench or Developer 2000 on the old days for Oracle, MySQL Workbench provides you a client connection to the database. And then some of these ones, maybe on subsequent videos, I could explain a lot of the other ones as well. But for MySQL Shell, today is the topic that I'm going to cover in full details. That's why on the PowerPoint I say full course. So you will get everything that you need to know. And if I don't cover something, I'm going to show you the help part of it. So you could just follow up with more commands, because within a couple of hours, you cannot cover only the JavaScript part of it or only the Python part of it. but I'm going to give you an overall summary of everything that you should know, and then get it started. This is kind of like an introduction or beginner's level, and then you could also jump into intermediate and advanced from some of the things that I'm showing you today, as well as follow up with more learning. And honestly, everything that you learn, you have to keep practicing it, because all these syntax and semantic of the language always has something to do with your memorization, how much you keep up with certain things. It's like math, right? The more you do it, the more fresh you can become. But because there's so many programming languages, so many command lines, so many utilities, so many apps, so many ways that you can do on a different operating system, different things, programming, shell scripting, bash scripting, PowerShell. All of these things are just keep adding to your knowledge, whether it's Oracle database, MySQL database, Informix, or something. You are just learning a lot. So there's always this technical documentation that available also at my website, that you can just go here and then search for technical documentation. As an example, if you're looking for Linux platform, I have at least 6,600 technical documentation here, that I wrote a Python program that generate all these thousands of technical documentation that is called Linux manual pages, from section 1 through section 9. All of them are available for you. So whichever one you click on, you just click on one of them and you get a PDF version for that one. And so like if I just go anywhere here and just search dynamically somewhere, I click on it and I get the make2fs. This is just creating file system after partitioning the system. But believe it or not, a lot of these things, because I have worked more than 30 years on these platforms, as a senior person, I have worked on each one of these ones. Somebody might just say, how do you know all these things in and out? But when you get to work on it on a daily basis, 13 hours, 15 hours, these things just sticks on your mind. And then that's how our memory works sometimes. And then, so here you can also get the HTML version of the same command. Like I was just running makefs, for example, make file system. You could just run it and then just get the output here. So if I just make the screen bigger, you can see makefs is here and the manual pages for it. And then if you just make the screen a little bit smaller, and then this is, sidebar comes in, you can just go up and down and read it. So coming back to this MySQL, since I have already installed it, once you get the Workbench installed, sometimes when you go to the server and then you want to download it, it provides you the platform that you want to download. So in this case, as you can see, I have the option to download my Windows, Linux, Ubuntu, Linux Debian, SUSE version of Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Fedora, Linux generic, Oracle Solaris operating system. The Oracle Solaris is like if you're doing it on Windows, it's x86, is Solaris Express. But if you're doing it on a Spark platform, it is just called Open Solaris or Solaris itself. Open Solaris is the Solaris Express version on the Windows side, on the x86 side. Mac OS X is also Darwin, which is also based on BSD. Solaris is also on BSD, based on BSD, which is called Berkeley Software Distribution. So like FreeBSD and BSD and Darwin, Mac OS X and Solaris are all based on the BSD. But here, when you just choose the Windows operating system here, for example, then it gives you these zip files that are there that you can download it. And when you click on the one that you want, basically you get a zip file or .msi file or whatever the extension is. Then you just download it and then you have it on your download directory. And then if I go on my download directory, since I have already downloaded, then you could see the files that are there, MySQL 64-bit here. You can right click and look at the property and then look at the extension of the file. That is the format that this file was downloaded. And so obviously, if it is kind of like a integrated environment for install shield, you just use that one and do it. If it's a zip file, you just unzip it and run it. When you run this MySQL install build, the community for this one or the other one, depending on your platform, whether it's on Windows or on Linux. On Linux, there's package managers. For example, on Ubuntu, you use apt-get to just apt install and then the name of the MySQL server process. On Red Hat, the same thing. And instead of apt-get, you use DNF space install. On Windows, you just click on the downloaded zip files, double click on it, and it opens and extract the file and it installed it. Once it's installed, you could just basically come back here on the command line and notice that there's some MySQL Shell already available. So if I just type in MySQL here, you can see that I have MySQL, I have MySQL Workbench and MySQL installer for the community version. So I have already installed MySQL command line also there. So MySQL 8.0 command line there. This is just another command line here that is going to ask me for the password. And then now I'm on the MySQL command line. But this is not what I'm going to show you. I'm going to do a quit from here, quit here, and then I'm going to come back here and just type in MySQL Shell. So MySQL Shell, if I just type in like this and I just see this, I can click on this icon. This is the MySQL Shell and the version. So I'm going to make the screen a little bit bigger so you can see it better. And you can see it's MySQL Shell 8.0 version 33. This is the MySQL Shell. As you can see, the prompt, it shows that it's copyrighted to Oracle Corporation. And then also it shows you like a little bit on /help will give you the help in /question mark as well /quit from this one. So the one thing that you need to know every time you use an app or a tool, whether it's MySQL or Python or something, as soon as you get in, how do you get out if you don't need to continue? And then /quit in this case is your example here. And then the prompt is very nice because it just says that you're using MySQL and currently you're on JavaScript version of MySQL. So the JavaScript engine version JavaScript 8, it is currently available for you that you could just basically run any Java commands and then just write something to do work. So say, for example, if I just say print, let's say 2 + 3. You could say the print is not recognized because unexpected number. But if I just try saying console.log and then just do this one and see if that one is actually a valid command, but then I'm inside console.log. I'm inside the Java session. I'm not able to run any Java console prompt. That's so the output is written to the console. So if I just want to clear my screen, I could just do this as exclamation mark and type in clear screen, the command. And now if I just say, give me JavaScript with /question mark, saying that show me what commands I can do with JavaScript, then I could say, well, let me just move up here. So when I did the /question mark, notice it gave me a bunch of commands that I can do within the JavaScript. So I'm on the MySQL JavaScript, I put /question mark. Here it tells me that it matches any single character and wildcard characters, the admin API, if I want to get the information about it, the shell commands itself, I can do it, shell API, SQL syntax, all of that information is available one by one. And then now here, store the multi-line input. So if I just write a multi-line input, I could do a backward slash. This slash connect or slash C, it connects to a MySQL server, MySQL database. And slash disconnect to disconnect you from the database. Slash edit to edit your session. So I will show you a couple of these ones right now when we get to MySQL actually. And then a slash exit is exiting out, slash help is like slash question mark, slash history, give you a history, slash JS switches to JavaScript. And then similarly, if instead of slash JS, you type in slash Py for Python, it will connect to Python. And instead of that one, if you type in slash MySQL, it will take you to MySQL. And right here, it says slash Py, that is there. So slash pager, if you're on Windows, you need to set your pager to a command like more, because more is available, or less is not available. So if you're on Mac or Windows, I'm sorry, on Mac or Linux or Solaris, then you could say slash pager, less or more. Both of them would work. But on Windows, you have to set up this one to more command. Python is to get you in Python, quit connect, reconnect, rehash, show. A lot of these statements, I'll just show you. Status to get the status of the system. And this is very useful command. Slash use is to connect to, or slash u, to connect to an instance of a schema. The schema could be MySQL server or a MySQL a database or another database like Word or something else, your customized database. Warning and watch, all of that one is available. And then notice that DBA, MySQL operating system, shells, utilities, all of these things are available within the JavaScript here. And then here they give you some kind of information how to get help. So the first thing that you know how to get help. The next thing is that like question marks give you that, plus help give you that. So I need to quit at this time. I'm going to do a quit here. I'm going to just open up the shell, MySQL shell one more time. I showed you that this is how you quit to exit out. So that is to get in, and then just click on this and start it. Now, instead of this, if I just open up a Windows command prompt and I type in CMD here, and then remember I was saying that you install the client, and since it's on my path, I could just make this screen bigger, and notice that I'm on a Windows operating system. So if I type in system info and then find string /I, and then I just say OS name. That one telling me that I'm running a Windows 11 Microsoft version of Windows 11 Pro. And then the build version is this, version 10 point something. This is the build number 22621. So now I know that it's there. My system is Windows. I'm going to clear this screen. Another way you could start MySQL is by just typing MySQL-SH. That was one way that here I type in MySQL shell and I click this one, it opens it. But if I just don't need that one, I could just type in on the command prompt MySQL-SH, and then that would also take me to the same thing. So similarly, activity that are there, you could just use it, and then it's your choice whether you want to do that or you want to just get out. But remember, I showed you that if I just want to run the clear screen command, and then I could say clear screen. So this is clearing the screen. Now, if I want to do a directory command where I am at, I could do that one. Similarly, if I just say, what is my host name? I could just type in my host name as algorithm. And any command that are there, netstat -an, and then find a string /I, and then let's say I want to look at MySQL. If any process that are related to MySQL, it's not but I can see that netstat -an itself is a command that shows me port information. So I cannot do a find a string on /i. In this case, if I just do the save clear screen command and then do netstat, I need to just say find a string /i, and then I'm going to see what port my SQL is running. By default, 3060. So that those ports are available up in listening. You can see I'm listening to it. But whether the MySQL process is up and running, you need to just say that if the daemon is up and running, let me check it on Windows. So you go on the services. When you click on the services here, and then the process, if you sort it by the name here, and then look at the word MySQL or MySQL 80. So let's look at the M section, and then right here MySQL 80, and it is saying running. Since it's running, that means I can connect it because it's listening to port 33060. And so that one is running. If I just double click here, and then I say, for example, let's say I'm going to stop it for now. I'm going to just do a stop here. And then now my SQL server is not running. So let's get back here and just run the same command here. And now it says that there's no such process. Return exit the status 1, meaning that it did not find that port being listening to it. So I'm going to come back on the services, and I'm going to start the service process, say start. So it does that one. Now it says running, the status is running, and then I just go here again, and now I am able to see it. So another way you can just do it, if I just stop it here, and just do a stop here, and now if I just say /c for connect, or just type in the word connect, root at localhost, then it's going to just try to connect. But since the session is not running, you're not going to get any prompt after a little bit. It's going to just give you actually cannot connect to MySQL server because it is not listening. So let's start it first. And then once you start it, now you just do this command with this, say, yeah, it is running, and let's just connect to it now. And then right away it connect there. So at this time, I can see that it is connected. Now for me, there are certain things that are available within the JavaScript engine once you're connected to the instance. So one of the command that I showed you on the help was use. So if I say /use MySQL, now it just says that, okay, I'm connected to a schema called MySQL, and then I could just say it is available through that DB object. So the default schema is there. In order to get more help on it, you just say DB dot, and then if you know that get a session, and the name, it will tell you that, okay, you're connected to root at localhost at this port 3306. And if you say get tables, and then you just get a list of all tables. That is on the instance that we are connected. So you might just say, well, I'm not going to remember all these commands there. No problem. All you have to do is say DB. They made it so user-friendly, that way you could just look for it. When you type in DB dot, that DB is the name of the DB object, and then dot is going to give you the dot instance of that object, all the properties and methods that are available to you. That's an object-oriented kind of concept that when you use the dot operator, it is going to give you that. But how do you get a list of it? Just press tab. Press tab twice, and then it will just show you a list of all the methods that are there. So these are that has left bracket, right bracket. These are methods that are available. And then like get name and so on, get tables and everything that you could do. The functions that are a function, and then the ones that they don't have any names sometimes, or properties or attributes. So you can just get those information. So if I just say get name, and notice that the get is a lowercase and n the uppercase, because it's object-oriented kind of naming, or in this case as the camel attributes. That get is G is lowercase, but the second characters that in that format, you could get this, and that's on JavaScript object model, also object-based language. So it says the name is MySQL. So if I just say db.get tables, notice that there's a lot of tables here. And then let's say we work on the user table. If you say get a table, then you could say get table, and then here you type in user, the name of the table. Now you see that there's a table. But then if I just say what other object-oriented kind of instance method are available. So this is DB is an object, and then this is one method. But because it's object-oriented, you could put a dot here. Then you could use more methods and more attributes that are available by pressing tab. So this time when I did that tab on the user, if I want to use the select statement, there is a select method here. So if I just say select here, just show me the name of the all the records on that table. There's 5 of them, and then that's how you get that one. And then if you just say give me a count of that one, also shows you 5 rows that were selected on the user table. So if you change that one to a name of the table DB, then you can see that is 2 rows. And if you just run the select statement here, you could see the rows are there. So this is how you do it within the DB object when we did it. So the amount of which tables you can work on it and which schema you could work on it is a lot. So we cannot just cover it in one video, but I'm giving you highlights of what are the object and the instance that are available, and you could just practice with more details of it. So like right here, when I did a dot this, and if you wanted to drop a table, obviously, and then there's a drop statement or delete statement. And then if you want to get the schema name, for example, a schema, while you're in there, you could just get the schema name as MySQL. And if I just say /use and then another schema, then obviously I have to name the database. But let me show you another way you can get into from MySQL. So before I get that one, let me write a JavaScript for a statement. So inside this JavaScript that you are there, if you say disconnect here, now we're back into a shorter prompt because we exit out of this. And then now I'm back to MySQL JS. So in order for me to get into the database, I could do it. But if I want to use a JavaScript commands or something, I could still do this one. Let's do this, say, clear my screen here. I'm sorry, you have to do the exclamation mark with slash in front of it like this in order to clear the screen. And then at this time, I want to write a function in JavaScript. So you say function, let's say we want to write a function to do my power function. You call it whatever you want to do. And then I say, whatever the number we want to do it, x comma y, we want to just return x to the power of y. So if we do that one, and we're going to do this brace here to start the function, and we could just say, let's say return, and we just say x to the power of y. We're going to just say x time. This is actually x times y, not my power. I could have named it my power, but do the actual power functions. But let's see if this symbol on Python and on JavaScript, it's actually doing the power function. So we return that one and then see if now my power 2 to the power of 3 should return 8. Okay, so something went wrong because of that encore. So I'm gonna just say, press here one more time, and then write this one. And instead of my power, let's just do first a function that we know for sure. Multiplication, for example, multiply. Or multiplication, we could say x comma y comma z. We just multiply 3 numbers. And so we say return x times y times z. So whatever number they gave us, we're going to return that one. In order for me to terminate the function, I have to press one more time function. Now the multiply function is available for me. So I could say x is equal, and then say multiply, and 2 times 2, 3 times 2. Let's say that is should give us 12, and then x is now 12. So console dot, we could just use whatever statement. Since we did the x statement, we got the output there. Or you could also say multiply like this and say 2 times 3 times 4, and then just get the output, whatever you want to do that. Similarly, let's do a clear screen here, and we're gonna do a for statement. Clear screen, and we say for this, the for statement syntax is like JavaScript. So if you know C, C++, and Java script and Java programming language, they're all having the same syntax. So you're in good hands on that one. So all you have to do is say for I is equal 0, I less than, let's say we're going to do 15, and then I plus plus, and then you could just say brace. And then at this time, I'm going to try to just write something like console.log, or we could do a console.log, or just write the statement actually. Say print, and let's see if we can do a print statement, or the print is going to just print line. I'm going to do that is printing one line at a time. So I say the number is, and then put a plus I here, and then just close this bracket, and then I could say if the if I is equal, let's say 5, then we could just say that's the if statement within that function. I want to try that one also. Then I could say brace here and say print line we found, and then the 5 we found 5 here. So we are going to just say we found plus I. That means we found 5. Otherwise, we're gonna just say we're gonna have an else part, and then we say print line, the number was, and then just say plus I, and then let's close this brace here, and then we're gonna close the for statement. This is just within the for statement. We press one more time, we should get the output. And you can see that the output, the number is 6, because the way we wrote this for statement within the I is less than 15, it looks at that number first and then print it there. Then when it was 5, at some point it says we found 5. But other than that, it just keep saying the number was or the number is. The number is this one, and the number was is the else part. So you could do that kind of statement within it. So on one example, I showed you a for statement, if statement, and a comparison, and all those things within this JavaScript here. So now, if we are on the JavaScript, let's just do another thing that we are going to show you before we jump into Python or MySQL. So here, when I type in /help, here it shows you that you can connect and you can do also SQL syntax and other ones. So if I just look at the SQL syntax here, question mark SQL syntax, notice that it gives me a lot of stuff here. SQL, and then it gave me a lot of stuff that you can do with MySQL.session, the other ones. So one of the things that is available within the SQL, I'm sorry, not SQL, within the JavaScript, it is the session. So let me just show you what is that. So if I just do run this clear command here, clear CLS, clear screen is a Windows, clear command is a Linux and Unix and Mac stuff. Mac is Unix. So if I just want to do something here with the session, so I say session, notice this dot operator is still available. And then if I just tab here, the tab command does not show me anything. Session dot, okay. So at this time, I'm not connected to the session. In order to connect it, last time I used /connect, this time I use /c, and then I'm gonna say root at localhost. So I'm gonna connect first. Now I'm connected, then I could have the session dot operator because I'm connected to this session. So if I just tap here, now session is gonna give me the entire database available for me. And one of them is to run a SQL command. And so like for example, if I just say session.uri, it's gonna just give me the uniform resource indicator, which is telling me that I'm inside MySQL X root at localhost at this port 33060 last time I showed you with the netstat command there. So I'm going to just say, let's say get session. If you look at the get session here, get schema is there. Get session most likely is also there. But if it is not, you could just do get schema, and then the schema will just show you what the schema you're connected. So by default, if you do status here, it will tell you that you're connected to MySQL, and this is your connection. At this time, that schema is showing blank because I have not connected to any schema. So if I just say session dot run SQL, and then here I could say whatever SQL statement I know. Since I know Oracle and I know database and MySQL and all those commands, I could type in commands here, show databases, and then I say, give me all the list of the database that is available. So session.run SQL, it says that you have the Word schema, the sys schema, this one, the MySQL, the information schema, that is just like a data dictionary kind of things about the data about the database itself. So there's a lot of views in here. And then on each one of them, you don't have to use the database here. You could write, for example, say, select a star from MySQL.user. And it is going to give you those 5 rows that earlier we did. And then here you could also say, select from DB. That is the 2 rows that we looked at it earlier. So if I just say, look at the users, and then I want to do a where clause here, the user table, not users, user, and then I say, well, that's not good. I just want to get a cleaner data. So I could, instead of saying select a star, I could say select DB, comma host, and then comma user, and then let's say the DB is not there, so I'm going to take the DB out. That field is not there, and this one. So how do I know what field is available, what field is not? I could say describe this one. Describe this table. It shows you all the fields that are there on the table. So user is one of them, and host is another one. You could check on those kind of things. Similarly, if you say describe DB, I'm sorry, DB MySQL.db. This one, it will give you all the DB. So host and DB and users are there. And if I just want to say select host, comma user, comma DB from MySQL.db, it will be those ones. And if I want to just sort them, I can also say order by, let's say this does not match much, but I could say order them by DB. So now I order them by DB, and if I want it in descending order, I say descending order. Now the sys is on top of this one. By default, they are in ascending order. So if I just write it like this or ascending order, it will show the performance schema first, and then the sys. Similarly, if I just change this one, say get out from the DB host, and then let's see that one. I'm gonna just change this one to user, and then user DB. I'm gonna just take the DB out because that was not in that field. Actually, let's just do what it was on that field. I'm gonna first say describe DB, and then inside DB we have a host DB user. Actually, I meant to do my SQL.user. The user had the field that was I was interested, host and user. So here I could say select host, comma user from MySQL.db. Notice that they have percentage for the host, which is default, and localhost is also on the 127.0.0.1 port, and then these are the users. So if I just sort that one and say order by user, then by default is going to show an ascending order. So Wahid is going to be on the bottom. And if I just say order by user, descending order, now Wahid is on top, and then these other users are on the bottom. So you could order it like that. You could also say a where clause. So you could just say, instead of the, let me make it a little bit from MySQL, where clause, where user is equal Wahid. So you could search for that one, and then it will just say missing user from user MySQL, where username is equal Wahid. So why it did not match it? Let me just say like, and then percentage and percentage. If that the like matches it, it does not. This is invalid or unexpected token. So the where username, let's see one thing here where user is equal and then Wahid. After missing argument. So somehow the double select, okay, because I'm using this select statement, I have to use double quote here and then, sorry, double quote and then close the double quote. So this single quote is interpreted correctly. If I just use double quote with the starting the select, and then do this one is going to match. Or if I use single quote here, then I have to use double quote here. So you cannot put that one within the double quote. As long as you start with single quote, your select statement, and that would be okay. It's going to match it and then set 0, 4. So somehow the double quote did not get it. So the select statement is saying that the way I interpreted it, you can sometimes skip it with backslashes, but this for sure is going to work, and that's how you should get it. Let's see what happened here again. Host from user, where user is, oh, Wahid, I wrote it in uppercase, W. That's why. So even the single quote that I did here, I could have put a lowercase and it would find it. So if you start with double quote and you close with double quote, the string that you're matching Wahid here would be just have to be single quoted. And if you did like double quote here, maybe you could use double quote again, only if you skip it. If you don't skip it, it doesn't work. So you skip this one saying that with backslash and then this one saying that don't interpret it as that, and it's going to match it. So Oracle and all MySQL and everything is smart enough to say, what do you mean there? And so if you do a double quote, both sides, then make sure that one of the string is within the backslash to skip that string. Double quote, don't interpolate it. But other than that, it should be working. Python is similar. So if you use single quote with a statement inside there, either you skip the double quote, single quote, or use double quote instead. So let's get to another database here. So remember, I used show databases. If I just say show databases, and then it shows me show databases, and then it's going to show me all of them. So if I want to use the word schema, so then I say use word. And once I use that one, and now my schema is there. So session dot get schema is going to just what's it, the schema name? Get a schema. So get the schemas, and the schema is also there. Let me just see if I wrote it wrong. A schema. Oh, yeah, this is uppercase. Let me just see. Get a schema. Maybe I mistyped it something. No. Invalid number of argument expected, but 0. Oh, get the schema. And then you want to get the schema, you have to give the name of the schema in this case. That's not like get the name of it. So this is just saying that I'm going to get that schema. And then the one that URI, say session.uri, is still going to give you that information. And then the current schema is going to return what you have selected. Current schema. Remember, I say some properties are going to just show you which one is the attribute that are there. So if I say, and instead of this one, and I say use schema MySQL, and now I run the get current schema, it just does that. Now, if I just do this one with Word, and then use the schema, and now I say session dot run SQL, and then I say now show tables. So we looked at the other tables earlier. Now we want to look at the city tables, and then we say, well, we have tables. Since I'm using it, I don't have to say select the store from city. I mean, I don't have to say here that word dot city because I'm already using the current city, so I can eliminate that one. But if I want to get something from MySQL.db, then I have to point to that schema. So this is telling it, go out of the word schema, go to MySQL.db and point to the other one. And then now the word schema and the city is there. I could just say word dot city like that, or I could say just city. I don't, since I'm pointing to the word there. And as you could see, this get current schema, it is already using word. So all I could do is just do this. And if I just say describe this one, describe city, you could see that it is describing the database or the table, the city. So if I just say, let's say select what are the field name, country code, and then population from city. So if I just get those ones, one of the table field, I typed it wrong. So select name, country code. I missed the country code. I just did not write it in a space. I put a space there. Population from city. Now it picks it up. So if I just say, yeah, that is good, but I don't want to see all of them. I want to say limit 5. So this is going to show 5 records. Limit 10 is going to show the 10 records. So one of the country is Afghanistan, and the beautiful city of Kabul, where I was born back in the good old days. Unfortunately, Afghanistan is not a safe place to live anymore. It is hopefully you guys are gonna let those girls go to school so they can come in the US and just help you out with what I'm providing you. I think if life was fair, everybody should have a free education, and then and they could help each other. That's my job here at MyWebUniversity, where I provided thousands of videos, and people on the internet, they are thanking me for, sir, you're inspiring my life. This kind of documentation, I could have never afford to buy books online for thousands of books. Now everything is available for free on the internet. It is making a big change in my life, and I could improve my job skills, everything, all of them, and because of these stuff that are available. And I'm not the only one doing this kind of goodies available on the internet. I know thousands of other companies are doing it on a daily basis, but you're welcome to just go and learn and start practicing it and help the community around you and mentor others that are in more needs of learning or just getting a job or something. The more we all help each other, the better society everywhere globally we will have in the future. We start from kids and educate the children of every country. It doesn't matter where they're born and what kind of difficulty they have. It's all, we're all, from Adam and Eve, we're children of Adam and Eve in a way that we're brothers and sisters. So let's help each other. And then the part that here I'm going to show you for the select country code and other ones, you have infinite choice to do all these select statement and everything. For example, if I just want to create a table for the country, let's say I say describe country here, and that's a table. And then if I say, well, it's 15 rows, let's just, for the country, I'm going to just say, create a table, my country, that is going to be just another table called my country. Doesn't matter. The name is, just let's work on the city. Describe a city. And then a city has a very nice structure, not too much to demo. So I'm going to do create a table, and then I'm going to say my city. So it's my, the name of the table is my city. The other table is already city. So we're going to write the statement, say create table my city as, and then we start with a sub shell. Sub query. In this case, I say as select a star from a city. So this is statement basically an Oracle or MySQL. It is going to just create this table, my city, out of this table city with selecting all rows and columns, because I say select the star from this city. So all the fields, all the structure. Excuse me. Oh, that was a funny one that came out. Sorry, I couldn't avoid it. I'm gonna leave it in the video so you can all laugh at it and make this video go viral. And then at this time, I'm going to just do a select statement. So notice that there's a syntax there. So what is the syntax? Let's do this. Create a statement, create table my city as select a star from city. And then the right syntax user, use this one at the line 1014. So I'm gonna try to double code this one. Somehow there might be something there that my eyes cannot catch right now. Let me see. Oops, sorry, I put a Z there for extra Z. Okay, you have an error in SQL, check the manual that correspond to this one. So I should not have a error there. I'm gonna say a word dot city, and it's still there. Create table my city as select a star from word dot city. Okay, so at this time I'm gonna just clear the screen and then try to use a different schema. And so I'm gonna say session dot get schema, and I'm gonna say MySQL. Let's see, MySQL, my command session dot get schema, return exit the status code 1. The schema is not recognized. Okay, schema MySQL. Okay, return exact 1. Let me see why is that. So session, sorry, I meant to say run SQL, and then here say use MySQL, because we're within the session. So within the session, use MySQL. It still does not get it. Let me disconnect here. Something went wrong. I'm going to reconnect and say clear this screen. I'm gonna say /c and root at localhost to make sure that the database is available first. It is available. So I'm gonna try to, while I'm on this one, I'm going to actually change gear, and instead of using the JavaScript portion of it, I'm gonna use MySQL. So in order to connect to MySQL, this is how you get into MySQL. And if you, I'm sorry, SQL, and it's in order to get to SQL. And then now my shell is changed. And same command that you're doing here, you could still do a clear screen. So if I want to go back to JavaScript, this is how you get into JavaScript. And if you want to go to Python, you just get to Python. And if you want to go back to SQL, you just get to SQL. So those are the environment that is available. Now inside SQL, you have a different kind of a session here that you can do a question mark help here. You see that all of these ones are available. There are certain things that within the JavaScript that were available, certain ones under Python, and certain ones are under the SQL. So one of the other command that under SQL, structured query language or MySQL, that's available instead of /bank. In addition to /bank, you could also use /system. So if I just say /system and then do a clear screen, in this case CLS, it will just clear my screen. And if I just do a directory command, I could do that one. And I do ipconfig command, I get that information. So all of these commands or Windows operating system command, you can just run them. And then at this time on SQL session, so I'm going to just say, what are the commands that are available for me? Can I just do a show tables without anything? Or could I say show databases? Yes, I can do that database. Now I say use MySQL, and then now I'm inside my SQL. So if I just say show tables, now I'm on the MySQL database tables. User was one of them, right? So if I say describe user, one of the table was user, and every statement has to be terminated by a semicolon. So that could do this. And then now if I say bang ls, clear screen, I could say use DB users. But notice that if I say describe user, I could get a lot of information. And then if I say create a table, my user, and then as, and then let's do a select statement, start from user. So I'm creating one table based on another table, and then it needs a semicolon. Until I don't press a semicolon, it's just going to keep prompting me for the semicolon. So when I print the semicolon, it just says 5 rows affected. Now I have, in addition to the user table, I have another table called my user. So the my user table is the same as the other one. So there's 51 record on my user, and then also 51 records on user. So my user and my users are the same. So now let me just drop that table. I did a select already. If I just want to say limit only 2, for example, from user limit select, oh, this is a table creation. So select a star from my user, and then if I just want to say limit 1, and just see 1 row, it's gonna just give me 1 row. Now I say I could drop it, say drop table my user. Now I just drop that table. In order to commit it permanently, I just say commit. If that transaction is rolled back, then it will not be just committed. So you have to commit the table in order to be permanent. So at this time, I'm going to use Word table. Earlier, I told you that we had an issue with it. So now it says show tables within the JavaScript. I'm going to try to create the table city again and describe city. And then when you do that one, this time it should work because I'm on that structured point language, and the select the statement that I'm doing should, or the create the statement in this case, create create table my city from city, not from city, as, and then select a star from city. That will just create that table, and then just say that this created. So now describe city as that one, describe my city, that my table city called city, it is the same there. So select a star from city, is going to return that money for 4,079 rows, and then my city also should have 4,079 rows. So everything is there. And now I'm going to drop that table. Actually, let's create a view based on that my city. So describe my city. If I just create that table called my city, and then notice that I have ID and name, or the two ones. If I just want to get only these two, a view based on those two, I could say create table, create view, my view, or my view on what is the name of the table, on create view, my view on my user, and then create a view, my view on this one, my user. I'm gonna just list the name of the view fields that I want from that one. So something went wrong. So create the view, my view. Yeah, I'm gonna try this one with ID here, name here, and then create view, my view on my user. Create a view, my view. Let me just try without any statement. Create view, my view on my user. Okay, so this one I forgot the syntax. I'm going to check it quickly. So you go on google.com, you just say MySQL create a view to see what is the format. So create a view statement, and it says create or replace. Those are just options that you could do. Create view, view name, and then the column list, and then as, select this. Okay, so this as is the problem that I did not do it similar to the create statement. So I'm going to do that one. And in order to clear screen, I say create view, my view, and then I'm going to say ID comma name, and then as actually my view as select what I want to do, ID comma name from my user. That would just do it from my user. So let me just look at it one more time. So view as select the statement with those definition, create view my name, view name. Okay, so the list of the columns has to be after the view name, and that's what I was missing here. So I could say create this, and then ID comma name, and then as select the star, select those fields, and line terminated. Syntax right to user from my user at line 1. One more try. Create my view ID as as right here. I'm missing a left parenthesis. As select ID this, and then close the next parenthesis here. Syntax error. Right here, name, and then from user. And then this, there's a little bit with the bracket that I have to correct it. So create view, my view, ID and name, and then as select there, select ID, comma name from this. That's how it should have been. So now it should create it. Table word doesn't exist. My user is not there, so I'm going to pick it up from the user table. And then that should, word, oh, the name city. I meant to say city name from my city, because that was on the other table. So now it says, okay, 0 record selected, but let's see if we pick it up from city, and that city already exists. The view already exists, so I'm going to say drop view, my view, and that did it. So commit, and then run this command again from city, and then now it says that the query there. So describe my view, and that's those two fields. So notice the syntax of the create view. You say create view, the view name, and then the field name that you want to create as, and then select those two fields that you want to put it into. So you can filter it with a smaller view, and then from the name of the table that you want to do. And then that would just do it. So now I say show tables, and notice that my view is there and my city is there. These two are there. In order for me to know which one is a view, which one is a table, I could say show full tables. And then that would just show that the view that is view, it will show that it's a table type as view. The other one is a table this. So this full is going to give you information. Show a full database does not mean anything, but show full tables means a lot. So do that. On the SQL, there's a lot more statements and everything that you can do. So I'm going to drop the table my city, and that would do it. And then I say drop view my view. Obviously, we can create index and then on a table and other ones, but there's a lot more creating database and other things. Watch my other videos for what is data manipulation language, a data definition language, data control language, is what is DBMS. I had a lot of videos there, so watch those ones. And then here, I'm going to show you one more thing as my city. So now if I just run the show full table, you can see that we're back to square one. Whatever the Word database had, I did not tamper it, and I did not create any new customized tables or views, okay? So now I'm gonna do a final commit, and then this one is done. Now let's get into Python. So in order to get to Python, first I need to do a disconnect here, because I don't need to be logged on to database connect. I'm sorry, disconnect. Since I'm not using JavaScript, I don't have the disconnect. So I'm on a SQL statement. I could just say JavaScript, it's going to drop me to JavaScript. And then the session, normally it is there. So I say disconnect here. And then now I'm on JavaScript without connecting to the database. Now, if I want to get it to Python, I just type it like that. So Python is very friendly. You could do a print dir of these objects that are available. you could get a list of all the objects. Python, like JavaScript, you could say print 2 plus 10 is equal, or just say, for example, import math module, and then say math dot square root of let's say 100 or 100. It is going to be 10, and then similarly for 121, it's 11, and maybe 100,000, 100,000. It's going to just show you that, and if it's 10,000, 100. So all of that one is the square root. What if you want to do a power function? So you could say math dot pi, for example, give you the pi. Math dot power function dot pow of to the power of 5 is going to go give you 32. If let's say 10 is 1024, and then let's say you say on the math module, you could see show me dir of math modules, all the objects that are there. And if you just say beside the math module, just show me a dir of all the Python stuff that you have. Look at that dir of Python. It has DB, the one that we used earlier, DBA, math module that I did it, MySQL, that slash MySQL that we did, MySQL X, plugins, raw, and then shells. Even within the shells itself, shells dot, like if I say dir of shells, you could you could see all the things that you can do. For example, if you say, give me the version of print shell.version. So this is the version of shell that is MySQL Shell. It's a 164, and it's MySQL community, general public license, the way we started off with it. If you say, show me the status of it, it is that, and if you just say slash status, it is not connected to the database yet. We can connect to the database and then do same thing with Python, or we could use other method of Python. So slash, if you just do question mark here, notice slash connect is there. So slash connect is gonna connect us to the root at localhost. And now it is Python is connected to that one. If I do a dir here, notice the dir of objects are all available here. So DB is one of those things. So if I say dir of DB, and this is a list of things that you can do with the DB. All these methods, double underscore method, we call it dunder method or magic method, are all available. So you can do a greater than or equality or less than or all those comparison, doc and then the string. So you could say doc dot double underscore string, and then this, and then run this magic method. Not dir, I just wrote DB, I meant. So the DB it has no known name, and then the string is this. And then let's say doc. So you could say on Python, you could say print help on DB, for example. And then you could see all the options that are available with DB here, or in these ones. These are methods that are available. Rep, and then R, and then Boolean, and representative and Boolean, and so on. All of this are available, but DB is one of them. And then I could say, for example, in Python, and let's say write something quickly here with dir here, and then one of them print dir of this, and this is like things that are available, and MySQL is one of them. So if I just say print MySQL directory of MySQL, and see what is available with MySQL itself, then again, those ones are there. One of them is the doc string, like that could give you the name string. So if I just say, instead of dir, I could just say, give me the double underscore and name double underscore, and that would give you the MySQL stuff that is there. Not defined. I thought that it was there MySQL. Oh, there's no dot. I had to do the dot, and then that would say MySQL.MySQL, and then the doc is giving you the string. But if you there's nothing here at this time, you could say help on it. That would give you and the documentation that are pointing to that. But there of MySQL itself is telling you that these are the things that are available, like get session and all other ones. So there of get underscore session dot get underscore session, it would just show you the method that are available for the session itself. In Python, you could write all kind of parameters and things that you could do. So /connect, we already connected. And if I just use MySQL to connect it and do the db dot and then just tap this one, it's not there. Let me just see what other option we have here. So dir, and then plugin, session, shell, utils, util. So let me just see under the utils what are there. Util dot, yeah. So when you do two tabs, you could see that there's the things that are available. So you could do load dump and then export tables for the utilities. You can do import tables into the database or export it from the database out and dump the entire schema, dump a table. You could do all of that. But then under the shells, for example, shell dot double tab, all of this is available. So you can connect to the shell and disconnect to the shell, delete a credential. There's a lot of things, open session and everything. It is too hard to just go with everything here. We'll show you all the example. I'm just going to show you that, for example, shell.status, it shows you that the connection ID, what is currently we're logged on onto MySQL server and everything there. So another one that you could say directory of this, you get it like, for example, under the MySQL and there. So if I say MySQL dot tap tap, you will see that it's all of these options are available. Split the script if you want to run a get session, all the fields that are there available. And when they're what is under MySQL X dot this. So this is what MySQL X dot is available within a session. And then within the session itself, session dot tap tap, and you could say get the schema. For example, if we say get the schema, I think this is what we were looking for. It's a lot of thousands of stuff. Get the schema, and then we could just say MySQL, let's say, if there's that schema, now we're on that schema. So now if I just say session dot current schema to tell me what I'm using. Similarly, the way we did inside the SQL, SQL, now we're inside the Python to get the same information here. And then if we say get a schema, you can create it, you can get it, you can close it. Run SQL is also available, run underscore SQL. So inside Python here, if I say show databases, that is going to be available for me inside Python. Run SQL, I think SQL was uppercase. Let me say, sorry, run SQL, or no, run SQL, and then show databases. That's why. And then that one will run and it shows that one. So the statement, whether you terminate it with this, it's a Python, so that is okay. But show databases, if you say use MySQL database, here you could just now you're there. And then remember the current schema, it is still there. MySQL is the current schema now. Slash status is slash s for status is not available here. So I'm going to do, and instead of that one, I could say run the schema, and then I say show tables, for example, and then it's going to show me all the tables. And then if I want to do the same thing within Python, I can create the table here similarly. So run SQL statement is going to give you within the session, say create a table, my u for my user as, and then put the select store from user, and then close that one, and then run that one. Now we just created 5 rows of this. Now describe, so and instead of this one, and because I'm not inside MySQL, I have to write the session.run SQL, and then put that describe statement here, run my u. That will just show the same table. Now I'm gonna drop that table and drop a table my u and does not need it, and then do a commit here, commit, and I'm gonna show you a little bit more on Python. So I'm gonna just exit out of this one. I don't need to be on the local session anymore. Let's see if I can disconnect here. Yes, I can disconnect. If I do a dir here, I get all this stuff that are there. In addition to, I can do everything that I can do within Python. So if I create a list comprehension saying x is equal x for x in range of 10, 100, 5. Let's say do that one, and now I get the x it's printed that one. So if I just say if x mod 10 is equal, if x mod 10 is equal 0, then print that one. It will just print those ones only that are divisible by 10, and the remainder is 0. If you just say, just now give me that one with the remainder of not divisible by 10, then X now give you those odd numbers. So the list comprehension is one thing you could do. And Python, you could do a lot more than just list comprehension or a list. So if I just say list 1, for example, is equal, and I just assign some numbers 1, 3, 5, false, Wahid, through whatever I want to do. These ones, since I did not code false as like false in uppercase and T with uppercase, it did not recognize as Boolean. But if I write false in lowercase in Python, that has to be a string. So that is 2 different information. As you can see, if I say for item in list 1, and then say print type of each item, now I can see that the one that are integer or the numbers, and then the strings are there, and then Boolean is false and true with uppercase. So, and instead of doing this one, let's just do another for statement. We're gonna just say print, and then we say print and say print the item first. So I'm going to say item and then comma and then double quote and then say the rest of the information. So I'm going to say type of item. So now this time it says that 1 is an integer, 3 is an integer, 5 is integer, false is a boolean, wahid is a string, and then through this. And then if I just want to print a list of let's say this is 0, this 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I just look at the 4, that is going to return wahid. 3 is going to return false, and that is going to be a data statement, and then true is going to be 5 because 4 is wahid. So if you just look at those ones, and then the one that is boolean, that is 4, 5. 5 was returning that one. Yeah, we already print that one. -1 would be the last one element, and it's false. So you could get a lot of these information, like for example, if I say assignment statement, if I say X is equal, name is equal Wahid Lutfi, and then I say print name, and then I say print type of a name, you could see that it is going to show you a string. So with the name, you could do dir of a name, you could do a lot of statements, like all these methods that are available. And so if I just say print name dot upper, it is going to change everything to uppercase. And then that would, I have to use this as a method, and then that is, instead of printing the type of it, I could do, and then say print it in uppercase. If I wanted the lowercase, obviously the method is lower. And then if I want to do with capitalize, and then I could use that one. If I want to change it to something else, all these methods that are here, it is available for me here. And then I could join it with another string, or concatenate it and add to the things. So right here, like if I say type of this list 1, it is a list. Dir of list 1, all of these methods are available for me. So if I just say, for example, a list 1, sub 0 to 4. If I want to do those ones, and then maybe to 3 and 3, and then they're already in sorting order, I could shuffle it and just put insert into it. For example, list 1 sub 0, I'm going to just assign 100. So if I just print that to list 1 through that one, now I took it out. So then I could say, even I could say sorted, and then just see if it could sort it like that, and it's going to sort it in that order. Or list 1 dot sort, and then this is going to return list 1 sub 0 through 3 in sorted order, because we already, descending order there. So if I just do the sorted, it's already in sorting order. The information that you can do with all of these ones is an indefinite number of things you can do. So if you want to write a function, for example, that I showed you how to write a function in Python, if you are inside Python here, you could say import OS, and then os.system, and then run the clear command here. So you could a clear screen command here. That could also do it. Similarly, if I say dir, and then I just want to do the exclamation mark, clear screen, that would work. So with the OS, you can do a lot more here. So if I want to say get, let's say os.get env, and then just say show me the path output. I could do that one. And then similarly, I could say import sys module, and then sys.path would give me all the paths. Sys.version is going to give me the version of Python. Version info will give me that. Set sys dot version underscore info is giving me that, plus sys dot executable sys dot platform. So you can see all those information that you could get out of it. And if you are in Python, you want to write a function, like I showed you this one, clear the screen, I could say define, and then say my power function. Let's say, for example, my power function, I could say x comma y, x to the power of y, right? So if I just want to do those two, I could say return, and then x to the power of y. That's the operator power of in Python, and then just do that, and now say my power, and then I say 2 to the power of 10. That would be 100, right? I mean, to the power of 10, actually 1024. And if I just say 10 to the power of 2 would be 100. So 10 to the power of 3 would be 1000, and 10 to the power of 6 would be 1 million, and 10 to the power of 9 would be 1 billion. But as you go to these numbers, you could just get it bigger, and now you don't know how many zeros are there. So in order for you to help yourself, you can use a print statement, the F string. The F string has this brace statement saying that format this one in a nice format. But what I mean by that one is, let's say, I must have not closed one of the brackets. So let me just do that one. I'm going to do, say, print, and then F, and then double quote, and then now I'm going to use my power function, 10 to the power of 12, and then close it, and then this one, and then now I'm gonna close this one, and then close this one. So that would print 10,000. But again, what does that F help you? It did not help you much. But here is the F that is going to help you. And this syntax, you can put a colon here, and you put a comma here. Now it's going to give you a separator with comma 3-digit numbers. So once you change this one to 9, then it's going to be there. Similarly with the 6. Number of digit that you're having it, let's say you have 7, you see that 10 is there, and then that 3-digit. If you do it with 15, a larger number, it is going to break it. If you do it, let's say 17, the first 2 is 100, and then the next 3, every digit is there. So it's really nice formatted there. And if you get it like really big, maybe 30 numbers, then you could see that 10 to the power of 30 is that large number. Okay. Let's get one more number, get to 50. It's gonna be huge. So the 25 is good enough, I think, and then we just get it up to 25. So that is going to show you what Python stuff. We covered SQL, we covered as a summary. Let me just show you one more thing here. I'm gonna just clear my screen here with this and say CLS. So here you can have a question mark to get help, and based on the sub shell, whether it's Python, JavaScript, or SQL, each one of them, they have their own list of commands or syntax that is available to you. You could do it, but the help and slash question mark always your help. And then at this, in the same time, if you're using slash system, on SQL or /bank, and then the operating system command, you could do it. If you're inside Python, you want to go in JavaScript, you do /JS. And if you're inside JavaScript, you want to go to Python, you just switch the slash to Python. If you're inside Python, you want to go SQL, you just switch to SQL. And then if you want to go back to Python, you do this. And when you're in Python, normally everything that you do in Python statement, it works like that. 2 plus 3 or plus 3, and then print hello word. So if I just write a function called def say hello, and say hello, for example, and then here I'm going to give a name here, whatever the user provide me here, and then I'm going to say that one, and then say print. We could say return, and then a print statement or return, say the string, we say hello, and then plus, and then the name. So you could do that one. That's a short name that is going to return. You can also use the print statement there to do that one. So say hello, and then say string is Wahid, and then change the Wahid to Sadaf, my lovely daughter, and then it will say hello to Sadaf John. And then if I just want to say to Murtaza John, Murtaza, my daughter, my son, and then we'll just say to my lovely son, Murtaza John, hello. So this is how easy it is. And if you want to say hello word, and just use that word here, and then it will say that. And so, and notice the double quote here around this one was missing. So once you put the double quote, it recognizes it. And you could just put single quote also, it works the same thing. So if you say James Bond, God bless him, or Maradona, God bless him, you could say hello to those people as well in heaven. Okay. That is what we wanted to show you. Similarly, on the JavaScript, if I go one more time on JavaScript and I want to write a function called function, and then say hello on this one, and then I'm going to say name, and then here the brace, the colon separator was on Python. This one is braces. So in computer science, you're going to learn a lot of languages. Unfortunately, it's a lot of different languages and different syntax, semantic. You have to learn it, but you will do good once you are a computer science student. You will learn all of them. So print line, and then you are saying that hello, and then I'm going to just say plus name, and then this. We could have just said return, and then that would say the same thing. But let me just do a print line here instead of this. See if the return value says none or not. So in this case, I'm going to do that, and then say hello, and then say Wahid, and then says hello Wahid. So it works. And then if I say hello, any name that I say here, let's say to my lovely wife, Zakia, and it's going to say hello, Zakia. Okay, so this is about it for this session. I hope you learn enough for it, and then you can just get to use my MySQL Shell. God bless you all. Take care. I'm gonna exit out of this one. When I'm done, you could do a quit here. So this is going to close that shell, and I could close my bash, and I could just, if I don't want to use this one, I'm going to shut it off. So I don't have to be running a database. Each resource that you reclaim by not using it is much better. But on this platform that I'm doing is only for demonstration. After this video is done, I'm going to shut down this Windows machine. So please make sure that you go on this video, watch it and learn it. And then if you have any question, go to my YouTube channel and make comments on the video so I can just make sure that those needs are fulfilled on the next video that I make. And I hope you all learn it. Education should be free for all. We should all help each other, and nobody is better than anybody. We all are just learners, and in this life, we all learn from each other. So the fact that I'm mentoring on this one, you could be mentoring me on thousands of other things. There's no such thing that I'm better than you or I'm mentoring you. Just I know more than stuff. You could just be as knowledgeable about a lot of things that I have no idea about it. So if you are uh, able to help other people, that would be the greatest things we all could do. Take care. Bye bye.